All right, we are live. Welcome to the July 2026 AlgaPSA live stream. Happy Friday.
Hi, everyone.
Happy Friday, Natalia.
Happy Friday, Robert.
So what have you been up to over the last month?
Oh, summer, a lot of fun stuff, Disney trips, and kids out of school.
Nice. It's the rainy season, so I've been trying to record more videos for the Alga YouTube channel, but every time I try to, it's dark and overcast outside, and I gotta rely on natural light for our super high production quality video streams. Yeah, we should probably buy some lights and stuff to not be dependent on the Florida weather to cooperate.
Considering that we're trying to show the product, not your face.
Thank God for that. All right. Speaking of that, yeah, let's just get started. We check the stream just to make sure everything looks good. Oh, we check the stream just to make sure everything looks good. Quiet down over there. Yes. All right, great. So, yeah, so we are always working up until the very last second and decide what to put on these live streams because we are adding features every day to AlgaPSA, and we can't possibly show you everything that we've been working on, but we try to, but we try to prioritize. So we've got a lot of cool stuff to show you today. So let me see how I control these slides. Let's see. Cool.
We're on the next one.
Nice. Okay, so yeah, so this month we shipped 247 pull requests. Pull requests are, you can think of them as features or bug fixes. Some of them are huge, some of them are small. So the inventory system entirely is one pull request to give you an idea for how much change and how much code that could possibly represent. So it's been a busy month. And here, this slide is interesting. It says that there are 3 clear themes, but only 2 of them are shown. I see that. we are working on this up until the last second. But yeah, so you can see it's just all throughout the month. It's pretty busy. This month, interestingly, July 7th was the most busy time with 25 features on July 7th and then 21 more on July 10th. So took advantage of the fact that it was a holiday and pushed out a lot of changes.
Yeah, it was.
Let's see. So yeah, many of the things we worked on were billing related, integrations related, and just quality of life things. So since we last had a stream, we entirely created the inventory system. I think we teased it last stream, but I don't think we had it available yet. That was released as 1.3. Yes. So that is all out. But there are enhancements that we are going to be talking about soon. No spoilers. Yeah, project invoicing is not released yet. That's part of 1.4, but we'll show you some of that here. And then there were a lot of updates to different integrations and added integrations and improvements and stuff that's been around for a long time, but we're finally getting around to releasing. So yeah, we'll go through it. All right, project billing. Let's start with that. Project billing is new. It's a tab now on the project screen. Let's see if I can show it to you in a second. Yeah, it allows you to set different billing options for all the different phases. So you can set, say, a fixed fee for your project. And then for phases, you can set them as milestones. And you can require that when certain milestones are hit, either by date or when the phase itself is closed, you can require payments to be to be made before the project continues. You can take deposits. You can put caps on the amount of spending that is automatically approved on a project, and then time entry will show warnings to people to say that the invoices or the amount of time that you spend on the project is more than what was budgeted, so that you can go back to your client, you can negotiate for more budget for the project. We have billing schedules. You can put products on your projects, and then you can invoice those products either at the end or at a particular phase. So there's a lot of flexibility in how project invoicing works. We also finally released our credit system. So credits work in a couple different ways. One of the ways you can have a credit is if you give a refund to a customer and they go negative in their balance, that becomes a credit that you draw down against. Another way is that you can do prepayment invoices where a customer can buy a credit, and they work the same way, either way. And then we added a lot of like kind of quality of life improvements to our accounting integrations. QuickBooks will kind of warn you when it does things that you might not want it to do, like when it's going to pull in a company. Rather than just doing that, it gives you an opportunity to approve it. And it shows you a preview before different things are done. QuickBooks also received an update for importing products and services too. That's in 1.4, I think.
Yeah, it's coming out soon.
Yeah, 1.4 is overdue, but I didn't have to disclose that. But anyway. Yeah, I mentioned some of these. So with QuickBooks, products and service import, that's actually a pretty big deal. That's going to be really handy. Yeah, preview first. Like I said, we kind of made it a little bit more less likely to do something that's surprising. Microsoft Intra's been in the system for a while, but we haven't released it because I just never liked the user experience. We finally had an opportunity to overhaul it, and it's much nicer. So you get a nice kind of onboarding wizard for your imports for your contacts in Microsoft Intra, and then it will automatically match up things that it can that are very close matches, or it gives you an opportunity to skip or import as new clients, and then the contacts come in as well. And then you just turn it on. So then on a scheduled basis, it will synchronize Alga with your Microsoft Intra. So that's neat. And then there's a whole integration into workflows as well, so you can do even more when things happen in your customers' Intra accounts. It works with both the direct connection to Microsoft Graph, and it also works with CIPP. So yeah, so whichever tools that you use, it is there for you. SCIM support, again, so if Intra is about your clients and their Intra integrations, or I'm sorry, their Intra accounts, SCIM is about your account and the users that you have in Alga. So when you hire an employee or an employee leaves, you know ideally you just want to mark that in Intra and have all of your tools automatically respond to that. And that's what SCIM is about. It's about taking as a source of truth Microsoft Intra, and then if you disable someone, they're automatically disabled in Alga. And the nice thing about it is that you don't have to wait until their login expires. So as soon as they're disabled in Alga as well. So it's like a callback that happens. Hoodoo and RMM, there was a lot of support and updates there. So Hoodoo was mostly about synchronization, right?
Yeah, keeping documents in sync. I think it fetches every 15 minutes, same as RMM integrations do. So if you update some of the documents in Hoodoo, You don't have to go and find which company did this, where does it live. It will just automatically pull the updated stuff.
Do you want to give a sneak peek as to what's coming in Hoodoo pretty soon? All right, I'll do it. No, I think we were talking about password support, or do we already have password support?
We have passwords from
That's right.
Hoodoo. We can just display them, copy them, but we don't store them. So we were thinking about our own password storing system, but that requires more attention to our appliance users.
Mhm.
And how will they securely store passwords in the system.
Yeah, a lot of this stuff actually goes into our documentation too. We do spend a lot of time on documentation. So when we're talking to potential customers, they're surprised at how much Alga does. So yeah, check it out. I mean, we have a lot of integrations now. We have a new integration page on our website, and it's more extensive than you might think. So for the RMMs, we have Level IO, we have Ninja RMM, and we have a new one that we're working on. It's a new company to the MSP space, but an established a provider in enterprise. It's Tanium. So we'll be talking about the Tanium integration that we have pretty soon, and we have some videos and things to share on the Discord about the Tanium integration that's coming up. But just in general, there's a lot of nice integrations with Alga. And in addition to that, you can do further integration with our workflow system. So I got a little demo, or pre-baked demo, we'll say, to show you in a bit. And then for email, we did some improvements for the appliance. On-premise, you run the same exact Alga on-premise as you do here, but we have the firewall set up correctly so that callbacks can come from Microsoft and Google, so that the automatic email integrations work. But on-premise, you may not want to open up ports to your server, and so we added kind of features to take that into consideration. So when emails come in, and we can detect that we cannot create a working subscription because Microsoft, for example, can't call us back, we'll increase the polling rate so that those emails are processed more frequently. So doing more and more for the appliance. And then we have some improvements for just everyday work. So for technicians, we added some nice, we have a whole new ticketing screen. I forgot.
Oh, yeah. Not only ticketing screen, when we get to actual product demo, it will show
Clients and contacts, right? Yeah,
clients, contacts, tickets, assets. We did some UI overhaul.
Yeah, I love it, but of course I would. So yeah, so the new ticketing screen, actually we keep the two ticketing screens right now in parity as far as features are concerned. So this is true of both screens, but you can resolve and you can close tickets in one step. So we added a button where you can just click to resolve, and then it'll give you a choice of the resolution statuses, and you can type in a reason. And then in addition to that, we added something pretty cool where you can click a button and you can refuse to notify, or you can decline to notify everyone. So if you're working on tickets, if you're closing a whole bunch of tickets and you don't want a flood of emails to be sent out, or if it's a very old ticket and you don't want to reactivate your client about a ticket that's been closed for months, that can be handy. We think that the new ticket screen, you get to it by clicking on the grid button, by the way, on the ticket screen. We think it's got a nicer layout. It tells you the story of the ticket from start to finish, in the middle kind of spine of the ticket, so you can see every status update over time, and you can see the comments that are nicely threaded. So yeah, I really like it. we have something on here about a feature that has not been announced. Next up, hints on sales opportunities that do not exist yet, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes. We have staff utilization reports, which is pretty cool. Everyone has been asking us for more reports, and we're thinking about ways to make a ton of pre-canned reports, and we're thinking about ways to make it easier for you to create reports yourself, custom reports. And then for clients and admins, we have better welcome invites. So when you create, this is when you create a new user, right?
Yeah, internal user in AlgaPSA, not just inviting clients, but your own stuff. You can send the same welcome email. You don't have to think of dummy passwords and then be like, did they change the password? Is it secure now? Or did they leave my 1 to 3?
Yeah, a lot of that is about kind of just maturing past a new application and getting into all the different ways that you can improve the experience for people who are using the application on a day-to-day basis. But you used to have to just type in random passwords for everyone as you were adding them, but now they get a welcome email just like everyone else with a random password, and they can log in automatically. So that experience is way better. Appointment controls in the portal. So we have an appointment system where you can schedule, or you can have your users schedule appointments with you, or your clients, I'm sorry. We use that on our website. So anyone can go to the website, they can schedule a demo that actually uses the appointment system in Alga, and that gets scheduled to us. It also uses the Teams integration, and the Teams integration will then schedule the appointment, and we arrive in Teams, and that's all handled with Alga. However, not everyone wants their clients to be able to just schedule appointments for them, and that was showing even though you would put no available times, but then they would see it and it would be confusing. Hey, why can't I schedule an appointment? So we are starting to add to a section now where you can toggle on and off features for the customer portal. And the first feature is the appointments.
So users will not be tricked into thinking that there is something, but where is my access to this feature? They will just have no menu item. They will not go there. They will not bother you with, I want to set up an appointment, when you don't want to actually give them this control.
Yeah, it's also kind of a silly workaround to ask people hey, just don't set any availability times and
yes,
you'll be fine. So that made a lot of sense. Safer settings. Yeah, I don't know what that means, but we're always here for safety. So inventory is brand new since the last time we spoke, so I wanted to give it a little bit of a shout out here. Big feature, usually only in the most established PSAs, so we're moving up into that kind of category of software. So here are some of the things that you can do with it. You can track stock, obviously. So you have on hand available by location. So you have warehouses. We can even track in vans. So if you put inventory on a van and the inventory is drawn down, we can give you alerts to let you know that it's time to stock up the van again with products. There's a ledger keeping track of where everything is. If you're transferring items between different warehouses while the transit is happening, those items are not listed as available in your inventory. We track by serial number, and we can track by MAC ID. So if you are big into phone systems and you track your inventory with MAC addresses, which is common in the MSP world, you can use that rather than a serial number. You can track warranties on all the different units. And then one of the really nice ways that we integrate is that when you deliver an item out of inventory to a client, it becomes an asset. So it's an asset that you can potentially monitor in Alga, and then you could hook it up to RMM, for example. Maybe you deliver a laptop to them, you have the agent installed on there, it becomes an asset, it becomes monitored by your RMM platform. And then we have the vendor portion of the integration where you create vendors. And you can receive supply from vendors, and you can also drop ship to your clients. You can create sales orders, send those to your vendors. We have kits, which are products that you combine into one sellable unit. And then, of course, you put them on hold. And then we make sure that the cost comes in too, and the cost is displayed in the various places where you're creating invoices, and you're creating uh, somewhere else with that kind of eludes me right now, but you see the cost so that you can decide what you want. Oh, it's on project billing. You can see the cost so you can decide what you want your margin to be. Some of the stuff I've already talked about, the transfers between locations. There's loaners, so you can loan out stock and you can receive it back. And then RMA management, and then restocking returns. So it's pretty substantial, pretty good. So yeah, it's a recap. We did a lot of project billing work. It could give you a lot of control over how you bill your projects. We added a lot of different kind of quality of life to the existing integrations that we already have, and we added even more integrations. And then we released some that we've had for a while, but we haven't released, like Intra. Well, we see things as being released before they actually get released. So 1.4 is out the door as far as I'm concerned, but it's not. It's just a little bit more time for it to bake. A few more things we need to work on. And we also did a lot behind the scenes that didn't make it to the presentation, but we have this really cool system of different emulators that we run that pretend to be different products. So we can test out things like IntraSync. We can test them very easily because we don't actually have to connect to Intra. We sort of have our own emulated Intra environment, and we have our own emulated QuickBooks environment, and we can kind of integrate with those. We know that it's not perfect fidelity, but it allows us to really, really go quickly on creating new integrations. So we create a Ninja One integration emulator. We create a Level IO integration emulator, and then we can test failures, which those systems may not fail very frequently, so we may not be able to test that. But with the emulator, we can do things like inject failure. We can see that our system works properly in the event of failure, which is part of life, sadly. Oh, and this is so cool. I'm just going to let Natalia talk about this.
Okay, since the inventory system in the app on your laptop is not what you would take to your warehouse or to the van, you need it on your phone. And with your phone, you first of all would want to be able to scan it. So we added this very cool functionality where you will be able to just scan the barcode and add this as a new product or receive it, update your stock calculations, or even like at a client's location, scan their barcode if that's one of your assets and see the history of this, I don't know, phone, printer, whatever is on fire this time. You will see the history of maintenance. Maybe their warranty is expiring. So this will show you not just the piece of hardware, but all the history behind it.
Yeah, it's more than just the scanning part. It's the whole inventory module.
It's
in
the
mobile. Well,
inventory
yes,
applied to
for
mobile.
right.
Yes, but that will be a whole new section in the mobile, which we're trying to like release simultaneously with our like main product releases. We're trying very hard to keep them aligned, but Apple and Google are
Yeah, we can't just throw things out. on our own schedule. Unfortunately, they got to be aligned with what we usually, what do we do? We like go to Apple and we approve it like
Yeah,
a week before.
we pre-approve them beforehand. Then if some updates need to be made, we're like, do I discard the previous approved version and risk not being approved again? But so far it's working out pretty well.
Yeah, definitely. And we keep both the Android and the iOS code bases essentially identical. I mean, they're different because they're different platforms, but features don't get released for one but not the other. They get released both at the same time.
Yeah, they always go together. I don't let Android fall behind.
But I mean, Android's easier to deploy too, so sometimes we could go faster on Android if we had that ability, but we try to keep them both in line.
Yeah, even though we see that we have more iOS users.
That's just the way it is right now.
Mm-hmm.
Quite a few, more than you might expect. So this is the deep dive on the Microsoft Intra and AlgaPSA. I might be able to show the screen. Let me see if I'm willing to take a risk and try it. Let's see. Oh, I think I have something here.
Yeah, we keep talking, and we're not showing
People want to see the
AlgaPSA at all.
application. They don't want to see our faces. Well, not mine anyway. All right, let's see. Share screen. Let me log into our test environment. Off screen here for a second. All right. Yeah, let's do some demos. All right. I'm going to bring that up. Share the screen, new window. Let's see. Bring this online. Oh, I have to remove this. Okay.
Okay, now it's AlgaPSA.
There we go. So, yeah, I'll try to stay on track here.
So, we're talking about Entra Sync.
Yeah. So I will go to the integrations here, and IntraSync is an identity. Okay, so we're not connected. So let's see what happens if I try this. Okay, so will it connect? Ooh, that's not a good demo. Well, that's okay. I'll just kind of step through it. When you come into here, if I had the emulator configured, if I had not run out of time, I'm going to try to run the emulator and connect. You can come here. We give you all this information because some of the feedback we got was on the previous intro screen. It was difficult to see how to configure it, what the permissions you needed, what it was going to do, what it doesn't do. So we just kind of give you that clarification up here to let you know kind of what's going to happen. There are two different types of integrations. This is the direct partner. CIPP will appear here as well off to the side. You can choose between them. You connect, and then you do the OAuth integration with Microsoft. And then after that, you go through the tenant mapping process where you go through your tenants, decide which ones are matched, decide which ones you want to skip, decide which ones are new. And then you synchronize, get a nice report, you turn on automatic sync, and then you get a dashboard where it shows you over time the synchronization. That's all coming out 1.4.
Yes.
So we will have, standalone video for that process, showing you how to go through it. All right, so I'm going to go back to the slides, and then there will be more demos, I promise. This thing doesn't let me have more than one screen, so I have to do a lot of juggling to get back to our different slides and things. Is this it? Aha.
Yes. We're back to the slides.
Okay, so yeah, so the idea with this is that you have your intra and you have Alga. You want them to stay in sync. The intra and the AlgaPSA sync, that's related to your clients and your contacts as part of your clients. And then you can do things in response to your clients coming in. You can synchronize them. You can schedule them so that they stay in sync. You can have field rules so that if something changes inside of intra and you want that to come back, we can overwrite, or we can notify you that there's a conflict, and you can resolve the conflict. And then of course there's a lot of reporting and history to show you the synchronizations that are happening over time. And so this is important for managing intra for your clients, and it's a big part of what MSPs do on a day-to-day basis, and it's something that you can bill your clients for. Yeah. So then the other half of that is SCIM, which is the users that you have in AlgaPSA and how that integrates with your intra server. So if you have employees that come and go, if you let an employee go and you disable them in intra, ideally across all the systems that you have them integrated with, they will not be able to log in there as well. No one wants to be going system by system and having a checklist. I think that everyone who's listening probably has that experience, but having a checklist of what you have to do in order to offboard an employee, we don't want to add to that burden. So SCIM is a way for us to integrate with intra, and so that when you make changes to your customers, that they get synchronized back in Alga. Their credentials may be immediately disabled if they leave. And on the other side too, when you add an employee, making them available in Alga should be an automatic process. So that is the SCIM feature. And then this is the project billing. So I wanted to show a demo here. We spoke about it a lot, but now I am going to actually show you, hopefully. Let me share that screen again. All right. Let's remove that. And this. See, I'm an expert at this now. If we did this more than once a month, I'd actually remember how to do half of this stuff. But okay, so projects. Hopefully this is going to work. Okay, so yeah, we have this billing tab over here now. Just making sure my mouse actually shows. Yeah. Yeah.
But this project is completely empty.
Yeah, I should probably go to one that's more interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. So here is a project that actually has tasks and phases. And then we have the billing tab. I'll go ahead and enable billing, and we'll say this is a $10,000 project. Yes. I'll go ahead and enable. And then you can see immediately it's enabled for billing. We have $10,000 here, but we have not allocated it among the different phases. So I'll show you a little bit about how that works. You can come into here and you can click on these things, and let's see. Oh, I just marked it as closed.
You would first configure a milestone.
Yes. So you can edit the terms here, and you can, where is it that I put in the milestones?
On the right side. There's a plus.
Oh, I know. Okay, great. So you create milestones, and the milestones are associated with the phases, perhaps, or a milestone can be
Just
set
time
as
based.
set as like a date. So the trigger is exactly. So the milestone can be when you complete a phase, particular date, or when you like manually say, hey, we've hit a milestone. So say that you have an onboarding process. Maybe in this case, it's the assessment and planning. So you can say when this phase is completed, then they must pay $5,000. So say assessment complete, they'll pay a fixed amount. You could say they pay 25% of the project. I'm happy I have Natalia here as my sidekick. Let me through this. But yeah, $5,000. Add this entry. So then, of course, this happens automatically as you finish the phase. I'll show you here. So you say market is finished. Then the approval comes up, and you can create the invoice directly from here. And the nice thing is that if they haven't paid this invoice and you require it to be paid before work can continue, then in time entry and when you open the invoice or when you open the project and all the different surfaces in the application that you're working, you'll be warning yourself and your employees that this is, you should not be working on this right now because the client has not paid for the completion of the milestones that have been completed so far. So that is a very short demo of the project invoicing. That's coming in 1.4. It's pretty cool. All right.
What is next?
Next up, we have, this one I'm not even supposed to talk about, but I couldn't help it. This one is very cool.
Very fresh.
Yeah. So yeah, forgive the demo, but we're doing a demo of it. All right. So what this is that you create a contract and you don't always know what the contract is going to invoice. It's difficult sometimes to visualize or to kind of work through in your mind what the actual monthly bill is going to be based on, maybe you have a fixed fee and you have bucket hours and you have prepayments and things like that on the contract. And we want to give you a really easy way to determine what your contracts are going to look like when you build them. So we created a contract simulator. And let me see if I can bring that up now. Move, add, go to contracts.
You go
Sorry,
to billing first.
Yeah, sorry, I'm all over the place here. So, it's not here.
It's only in local.
It's only in our dreams. It's an 80s song.
As usual.
As usual. Well, that's why I was not authorized to show it, but I can talk about it. There's a new kind of simulator tab here that you can click on and see if I have it anywhere else. Can see if I can sneak a peek at it. Maybe I can. Yeah, I can vary. Let me move my screen around. I do have it here. I do have it. All right, let me share my other screen. Okay. Yeah, very much a sneak peek here. In development, on my development machine. Scanning here to make sure there's nothing embarrassing. There is not. So this is the beginnings of our simulator. It says project invoices, but that's very confusing because we just spent a lot of time talking about project invoices. So we are changing that. Natalia's already changed that to simulate, right?
Yes, it will it will be consistently talking about simulation because it will not create any records. It will just simulate, like move you forward in time. What will you get next month, in a month, in 6 months?
Yeah, and you can do really neat things like make projections. So you can do it 2 ways. You can either for an existing contract, you can come in and you can use the average from the last 3 billing periods. So you can say, yeah, just look at what I've done, show me what this contract is going to do as time progresses. Or you can come in and you can make changes here to your projections, and it will show you how that changes the invoicing going forward. And this is not as simple as it might seem, because with a contract, you may have some things that bill in arrears and some things that bill in advance. So it will take care of all that for you. You can't bill time and materials in advance because you don't know how much time you spent on something. So those are built in arrear. So you can see here that it's taking care of this because we said 8 hours. That 8 hours is appearing in August. We're doing that work in July. But we're billing in arrears for that portion of it. But the $100, that's billed in advance. So you can kind of see that the system will do all of those different things for you. And it gets even more complicated when you're talking about bucketing and fixed fee amounts with overages and all of that. It's all taken care of for you. And then you can click through to each of the different line items, and then you can see you can click through each of the different contract invoices, and you can see the line items down here, and then even see the invoice that will be created for that month. So this is really, really handy. It kind of gives you a couple different capabilities that are really powerful. One of them is just being able to see what the heck you're going to be billing. Right.
Yeah, did I configure it correctly? Should I set different rate to get expected results?
Yeah.
And also plan your future work. Should we spend more hours on this client? Will it bring us more revenue?
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, coming soon. Hopefully 1.4. I'm trying. The scary thing, not scary, but we got to be careful because it's invoicing, and it's actually a new engine for the billing system, where the simulator and the actual billing system, they use this new engine. They both get an overhaul, and then you can imagine that having a simulator makes it really easy for testing.
Yeah, much more transparent.
Yeah, so it's exciting. Okay. Let's go back. Build a draft with a simple description. Ooh, yeah, I'm like a kid in a candy store with this stuff. I am going to show another thing that we are working on. This is actually released, so this is not speculative. Let me go ahead and remove this, and I will remove the demo to come back in a second. Share my Claude screen without embarrassing myself. My previous requests, like when I'm asking if it's safe for a dog to eat almonds, no one wants to see that. And the answer to that, if anyone wants to know, is it's not good for them. But my dog found one underneath the table, and I got panicked. So anyway, so what I'm showing here is we have MCP support, as we spoke about last time. You basically do anything with Alga through AI integration.
One note: you are not sharing the screen. No one can see. You ask Claude
it's my
and your almond discussions.
The power of my descriptions were sufficient, but I guess not. Okay. Anyway. So yeah, so we have MCP support, something that we spoke about in the past. I use it a ton. I know a lot of people in our Discord have been using it a lot too. Um, really anything, so I'll do things like I get a lot of emails that come in, and you can get overwhelmed with emails where if enough of them come in, you don't know which ones are new, you don't know which ones are partially addressed, you don't know which ones are saying you're doing a good job or which ones are saying you're not doing a good job. You want to acknowledge the good job but not act on the good job. And you want to both acknowledge and act on the bad job. So anyway, I don't want to miss anything if at all possible. So I will actually have Claude go and look at all of the emails that came in, not respond to them. I don't like using AI to write for me at all. But
Yes, you use your own M dashes.
yes, I learned how to use M dashes because the AIs taught me how useful they are. So now everyone thinks I'm an AI when I'm speaking on my own. Because I'm not going to let the AIs dictate to me what kind of punctuation I can use. Anyway, so MCP, you can do things like go through your emails, find which problems are already addressed, and leave those to the side. Find which ones are completely not addressed, add a new ticket, and then find which ones are partially addressed and add a comment to a ticket, or update the status of the ticket to say it's no longer should be marked as completed. So all of those different things, I do that so that we don't lose track of anything. And it's just an example of how you can combine Algo with another tool. Even though there's no native integration, you can use MCP to do that. And then so it just got us to thinking about different ways that we could make things easier that are kind of arduous. And one of the things that we did this last release, 1.3, is we added the ability for you to be able to describe in words an automation workflow that you want. And this was more difficult than you might think. We had to first build in the information on how the workflow system works to our MCP system. Then we needed to make it reliable for the language models to be able to create workflows, which is not necessarily easy because it's a very big, complex system. So we gave it an actual simulator that it uses, that the language model uses as it's building the workflow to decide if the workflow is valid. So there's the validity check. And then we gave it the ability to actually create a simulated workflow to make sure that it's correct. So based on your description, the language model will design a workflow for you, validate that it's proper, and then validate that it's actually does what it's supposed to do. And all of that is built in. And if you connect MCP to Alga, all you really have to do is you have to just describe what you want. So I did this right before we came on the air, and I said, create for me a new AlgaPSA workflow so that when a ticket comes in from Natalia, we set the priority to high, and we add a comment reply to say we're on it. So she thinks that we're on it as soon as she sends in the ticket, even if we don't see it. And we set it to high priority. Kind of a joke, but there's all kinds of different things that you want to do that are in response to things that happen in Alga. It's not just tickets. So you might say, when a new draft invoice is created and it's above a certain amount, I would like an approval process. And we have integration with the user activity screen where you can actually bring up user interfaces and have an approval process that you build that's just for your own application. You can do all that stuff in Alga, and it was kind of hard and arduous to build it before, but now you can just kind of describe what you want, and Alga can build that for you. And you can see here, so you can see the thought process that it went through while it was building the workflow for us. So it was searching for all these different types of things. So you can kind of go through and look at this if on your side after it actually completes the process. But most of what it's doing here is it's looking to see what the proper board is that it should worry about, what the statuses are available on that board to see what a critical status is. So it has to come to all this understanding of the system. And then finally, It's going through here. It's creating the workflow. See, it's architecting the workflow, architecting the conditionals where it's checking to see who it's from and is it Natalia, and if it is, then it's doing these different things, and then it's validating, which is one of the things that I spoke about. And then at the end, it complains and it says, "Hey, I wasn't actually allowed to set it and turn it on," which the system does not allow that. So the system will not allow the LLM to actually publish the workflow. It'll only allow it to draft it. So you have to go in and you have to verify that it does what you intend to do, and you publish it. And it doesn't matter how much Claude complains. That's going to remain the case. And so also I can show you the resulting workflow. Remove that. Stop sharing that. And let's see. Hey, here we go. Did that work?
No, you're not sharing. You're not presenting.
Let me add that. Okay. So this is the actual workflow that was created in response to that text. So you can see it fires when a ticket's created. The first thing it does is it finds the ticket, finds the contact. Contact is, it needs to find who Natalia is, so it looks up Natalia. And then if the contact is Natalia, so this right here, it puts this conditional in. If it's Natalia, then set the priority to high and acknowledge by adding some text on the ticket. Let's see what it decided. Oh, thanks for the ticket. We're on it. See this? You see this, Natalia? You see that M dash there? Anyway,
Of course.
that did not come from me, but it might have. So yeah, so this is an example of how you can describe a workflow that you want, that's a business automation process, and just have it kind of magically create for you. So very, very cool stuff. And let me switch back. Test workflows and validate them before they go live. We already talked about that, and that's the end. That is the end of our July live stream. Is there anything you wanted to talk about?
I just noticed on your screen that stripe at the top that shows that it's time to refresh the screen. It's one of those invisible but important things that happen. We've been adding a lot of infrastructure work, and when we do a deployment, some actions might change, some functions might change, and this is the case. We just had a new deployment rollout, and if you see this, old functions might have been changed, and you just need to refresh the screen, and you have the new version of Alga.
Much better than
just crashing errors that are always suspicious. What did I do wrong? What went wrong?
It's just not a good feeling for you to be working in an application and you're like, oh, I ran into this error, but now it doesn't happen anymore, so I guess it's okay. And a lot of that happens just because you did a deployment, but the user's running an old copy and an old tab, and they just need to refresh. So these are a lot of like the everyday application maturity fixes that are super important.
Yes, that also means that this simulate thing is visible now.
Oh. We'll try. Okay, so we'll go back to the simulator, and we'll show the real one. So it's not the development version. So let me stop sharing this. Let me share my screen. I think that's the right one. Let me bring this one up.
You have to switch
And then
to
switch,
color.
move, add. Okay. Oh, and then there's a color switch.
Mm-hmm.
Huh. Let me see.
Maybe you can just type for the incognito mode. Will it work?
Let me see if I can switch to a different tab here. Let me just check off screen for a second. What's the correct color?
Green.
Green. Hello. Okay, I guess green's the one I already have on my screen. That is a real. Okay, we'll show this one. Oh, this is okay. This one is
it has
$0
no
anyway.
recurring
Yeah.
services. So
let's. Oh, but we can do time. Yeah. Okay, we can do time.
mm-hmm.
All right. So
I'll share this screen.
yeah,
now.
let me share my screen. Okay, for the people who are just joining in, what we have is we have a new billing simulator where when you create a contract, we allow you to see what the contract would bill over time, to have an idea of whether your contract is correct, number one, and two, to do what if scenarios where you can determine if you change certain things about your business, how will that impact your billing. So let me go back. It's weird because up here the tab says client contracts. It makes it difficult for me to. Okay, share. All right, so this is actually the live simulator. So this is what is going to be released in just a few days, and this is actually one of the contracts here that we have, and this contract actually just has a custom billing rate. So you can see that, if I don't do anything, then there will be no invoicing that happens, but I can kind of determine, what different levels of work would invoice. And it would be even more interesting if we had bucketed levels where maybe you have one billing rate at a certain bucket, or you have included hours at a certain bucket, but then overages are charged at a different rate, and then that'd be kind of interesting. You can actually come into here and you can modify the contract specifics. So it's not just about taking the contract that you have and determining how it's going to work. You can also come over here and you can modify the contract in different ways. So you can add proration, or how you're billing, or whether the frequency changes. And then, of course, included hours and the bucket hours, different services. And you can add additional line items. So you can really build out, in a sense, you could build out your entire contract from this screen, simulate it, determine that it's correct and matches your expectations for what it should be, and then apply it, which you don't see the apply here, but the apply will take the original contract, take the changes that you've made to it, and bring them back into the original contract so that you can take what you've done and persist it. So that's it. That is July.
Yeah, that's all we've been working on since last live stream, and it's like one release 1.3 went out mid-July, and the next one 1.4 is almost ready, will be out pretty soon. But some of features from 1.4 are actually already available, deployed, and you can use inventory system already.
I mean, truth be told, they're all out there, but we have feature flags. So
Yeah.
that's how we do releases that have no downtime. Is I mean, ideally, when the release comes out, we just turn the features on.
But in real life, it's all deploy. Did it already come out? This time it took a little bit too long, and we didn't want to delay the start of the live stream. But
yeah, we did. We need to. The show must go on, as they say. All right. Well, this was a lot of fun. We will be back next month for another round. We have a lot of fun stuff coming, especially on 1.5. Probably more than we can possibly accomplish, like always. But a lot of billing stuff that's coming in 1.5.
yeah, and of course, this billing simulator is a big thing, but there are also a lot of fixes, some of them revealed by the simulator when it's obvious that something is wrong, or just in general. So
I'm trying to remember some of the improvements that we have too. We had some additional, a lot of what we are finding now, it's coming from our internal scenarios, right? So where we have the simulators and we have the, like
yeah,
Natalia was
and
saying.
like discovering that, oh, if you have a draft invoice that was sent out, you can still delete it. Oh, that shouldn't be allowed. That gets discovered by tests, by some inventing some weird scenarios. Why would this happen?
Yeah, we're trying to do all the interesting and strange corner cases before our customers ever try anything like that. So simulators really help us with that.
Yeah.
But yeah, stay tuned. 1.5 is going to be great, and we're excited to show you next month what we have done. So, thanks, everyone. Bye.
Bye. See you in a month.